Hey, yo, salute to the people. It's a social forecast. Welcome to 2019. This might be, I think, the first official video of 2019. I've taken a couple days to do this video, this blog, this topic for a couple reasons. One, I wanted to approach it the right way. Very sensitive topic, not one that is new to me or anybody in my age group. For anybody in my age group and older, this topic first came up damn near 20 years ago. And because we live in a time now where the world is far more sensitive than it used to be to things, regardless of the nature of those things. We just live in a crazy sensitive world these days. Um, Everything is magnified. So when things come up, especially in light of the Bill Cosby situation, countless other celebrities that have recently come out facing a lot of public scrutiny and criminal justice system scrutiny for legal issues for activities that they were involved in years and decades ago. But this topic more, most specifically because allegedly the activities are still going on. What am I talking about? Well, if you've seen the title of this video, I'm talking about the recent release of the Surviving R. Kelly multi-part kind of docu-series that Lifetime put out. Now, I wanted to sit back for another reason too. Because I knew that there were going to be blogs and videos sprouting up everywhere talking about this. And all of the radio talk hosts and personalities and all the podcasters were going to be talking about it. And of course, I was right. It's a hot topic. Now, this is a testament to this channel. Now, I could have jumped all over this, done a blog the same night or the next day after this Lifetime docu-series dropped. If I was just about views, this channel, the social forecast, is not just about views. It's about talking about real issues and really having those difficult conversations, those controversial conversations that even when people are talking about it, I don't feel like they're talking about it in the right context or addressing the root of the issue. Now, I could sit here and I could do exactly what everybody else has done for the most part. 99% of the videos that I've seen and the people that I've heard talk about this topic and just bash R. Kelly and say, yo, he's a criminal, put him under the jail, he's a predator, he's all these different things. Now here's where I take a little bit of a left turn. And it's part of the reason why I really sat back and thought about how I wanted to address this, because most people who are shallow minded, who aren't free thinkers and who aren't independent thinkers, and who don't really apply real thought into the connection between some things that we talk about as far as social issues go and other things. And what I mean is this: it's always been confusing to me that, on one hand, when it comes to certain things, we talk about, now more than ever, too, rightfully so, we talk about mental health. We talk about how people who do certain things are struggling with mental health issues. And being that people are struggling from mental health issues, there should be more help geared toward those people rather than demonizing and criminalizing those people. I say that because how come in almost every blog, every video, everything that I've heard talked about pertaining to this topic, it's always just, oh, pull his music out, off the streaming sites, don't listen to his music, don't fuck with him. He's a predator, he's a sick fuck and all these different things. People talking about putting hands on him if that was their kids. And look, all of these things, I'm not saying that they're wrong. Not my purpose for this video. If you're looking for another blog of someone just talking shit and saying, look, put him under the jail and all that other shit, that's not this video. There's about a million other videos out there that you can go like and agree to down in the comment section if that's what your sentiments are. I won't fault you for those sentiments because I have children, right? I have two girls. So 100% I can feel where people are coming from. Here's my only problem. And this is what I focus on with this channel. It's those other angles that people don't touch on enough. The real subject matter and what should really be leading these conversations, but I feel don't lead these conversations enough. I had to ask myself, what person, what grown adult, what grown man in their right mind would be sexually attracted to a child? I don't know of any. So if that's my initial thought, and if the answer is I don't know anybody in their right mind who would be sexually attracted to a child, when we come across people who are, when we come across people who engage in not just activities that are illegal, but activities that are deemed to be morally wrong, instead of just automatically criminalizing and demonizing these people, how come we don't think this person really must be suffering from some form of mental health issues? Because if no person in their right mind would do these things, then what type of therapy, what type of course correction, other than just, I'm not saying in place of, but other than just some sort of criminal punishment, some sort of legal ramifications? What other form of therapy can we put in place? Because look, it's always assumed and it's always been stated, and research always shows that people who are abused in some way, shape, or form will, when they're children, will grow up to abuse other people. Hurt people. We know that that's a fact. It might not be everybody because nothing's absolute, but that's generally the path that people who are abused and who are hurt over a period of time. That's typically the path they take, in some way, shape, or form. So if we know for a fact, especially in light of this docu-series coming out, that R. Kelly was abused when he was a child, molested, however you want to call it, and then he's doing these things and has been doing these things over the course of his life, rather than just say, yo, somebody should be putting hands on him because I think that's what Master P said, and throw him under the jail and take his music off of all the sites. Don't listen to him. He's done. Cancel him. Because we love to cancel people. That's just what we love to do. And even when it's justified, shouldn't the real concern, in addition to and aside from all that, be to genuinely try and help these people? Because look, the only difference between an offender or a predator is catching that person when they were still a victim, if it comes out that that person was a victim, catching that person when they were still a victim, finding a way to help them and heal that person or those people before they take that victimhood and turn it into them being a predator. And that's all I'm saying. Another side to that is, and I was watching a video on YouTube a little earlier today, brought up a lot of good points. Brought up some points I don't really agree with, but some good points. Traditionally, and all over the world really, but even in this country, traditionally we look at it, when you and I remember this from high school. The high school girls, my age would always say, "Oh, I date older guys. I'm into older guys." I knew so many high school girls I went to school with who were dating guys who had either just graduated or guys that were in college. That was just a normal thing back in the 90s and the early 2000s. It just was. It was what it was. Nobody really looked at it a certain way. It just was what it was. And traditionally speaking, men typically date and marry and start families with younger women. Now you got to look at it like this. If you're 35 and you're dating a woman who's 25, nobody looks at that crazy because you're two consenting adults. But when you look at the age gap and you think in your mind, okay, when I was 25, this person was 15. See, nobody really makes that association. We look at it more so, not the gap in age, but where in time that age falls. So if you're 25 dating a 15-year-old, it's crazy. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying this is what the perception is. But if you're 35 and you're dating someone who's 25, oh, that's cool. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there are so many contradictions. I feel like there are so many caveats and there are so many exceptions to so many different rules that we put in place in our society that it makes it damn near impossible for anybody to ever really know what side of the coin anybody's ever really on. And for the people who are going to see this video and comment and get it totally wrong, I'm not saying that what R. Kelly did, or allegedly did, or allegedly is doing is not wrong. What I'm saying is it's the message we send, not only in this country but around the world. You go to other countries and there are plenty of grown ass men marrying young ass girls, teenagers, and because culturally it's acceptable, it's no problem. You know, you go to certain places in the world and by 13, 14, you could be married with a family, a whole family. That's a fact. All I'm saying is we need to be, if we're gonna if we're gonna if we're gonna kill the people, right? I mean this figuratively, obviously. If we're gonna kill the people who violate in these ways, right? That we deem to be violations. If we're gonna do that, cool. I don't have an issue where it's warranted. You know, let those things be what they're gonna be. But if we don't start to approach things in a more uniform way, in my opinion, it makes it extremely hard to speak out on some things and not speak on other things. Back to the mental health thing. If we're gonna call someone who's a serial killer, right? Obviously they're predators. But if we know in our right mind that anybody who would just be in the business of killing people, be it for pleasure because they're sadists or be it for whatever reason, right? We know that they're mentally not right. People who uh, are addicted to drugs, you know, we call that, we associate that with mental health. We say that they're, you know, they're depressed or they're, you know, dealing with things. It's an addiction, it's a disease. We classify alcoholism now as a disease. We in some cases even classify people being overweight as it being a disease or at least being associated with disease in some way, shape, or form. I'm not talking about medical issues. I'm talking about we classify being overweight in some cases as even a disability. You can't pick and choose, right? Even predators, you have to delve deeper into what it is that's going on in that person's brain, what it is that person has gone through, what their exposures were, and especially in situations when it comes out that that person was a victim at some point too. Yes, there should be legal ramifications for certain things because everyone has a choice for the most part. But at the same on the same level, if we're gonna really respect mental health and we're really gonna respect the fact that we're so mentally health conscious these days, then we have to approach every situation where you can logically say in your logical brain that a person must be mentally not right. Then you have to come up with other answers, other ways to resolve these things. You have to. Because somebody who does these things and thinks that it's not wrong, they're not just criminal. Mentally, they're unstable. Something else is wrong there. We have to address that. That's how I feel about it. So, you know, this whole docu-series, I believe that it just brought to light so many things that are wrong, not only with people who struggle from mental health, but the people who fail to diagnose these different things. And in the court of public opinion, it's always this mob mentality, right? This pitchfork, string them up, set them on fire, hang them mentality. What about the help part of it? Clearly, if you're gonna say, all right, all of these people, all of these allegations, you know, this shit must be true. Okay, if we're gonna stipulate to that, to these things that have allegedly happened, if we're gonna say that they must have happened, cool. Do what you do, say what you say, agree, you know, feel how you feel. But do you really feel like there is not some mental component there, some scarring there from whatever abuse happened there with R. Kelly himself as a child and growing up? Whatever that may look like or may have looked like. You think the answer is just throw him under the jail? You think the answer is just let's not listen to his music? Is that where it stops? Do we just exile people and just kick them out from society and that's it? Or do we try and help and figure out where these things go wrong? Do we try to figure, because, you know, I feel like if you're going to classify the things that we classify as being associated with mental health, why not pedophilia? Because again, what person in their right mind, what adult, especially a celebrity, especially someone who has the resources and the fame and notoriety that someone of, the stature of an R. Kelly, who could clearly probably be with any grown woman that he wants for the most part, why would you be into children, teenagers, young girls who are not even mature women yet? Something has to be wrong there. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I know it's a heavy one. That's how we starting off the year, but it's the social forecast. I gotta cover shit like this. I gotta cover the real shit. I gotta, whether it's controversial, whether it's gonna spark some people to feel like, yo, he's crazy. How could you say these things? It is what it is, right? We gotta have the difficult conversations, and I don't feel like enough people do that, and that's why this channel is here. It's the social forecast. Let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments. I don't pretend to know everything, but I will engage with whatever y'all feel, even if it's a disagreement with what I'm saying. Let me know what y'all think about this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.